Our next guest, we're going to talk a little bit about, we'll get back to our Ukrainian coverage in a minute here, but we're going to talk about Elizabeth Simpkins, Regional Underwriting Officer, Inland Marine Transportation at Travelers. About another segment on the show, we're talking a little bit about food. We'll be talking about the Ice Cream Alliance, but with her, we're going to talk a little bit about food insurance. Elizabeth, thank you for coming back on the show.
Hey guys, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself before we jump into things here.
Sure. So I'm Regional Underwriting Officer for Transportation within Inland Marine at Travelers, focusing on growing that book with us and servicing our existing clients.
Yeah, so let's talk about the food situation here. So what really should Consanese customers do if they find their with this? What are the importance here?
Yeah, well, kind of setting the stage for us when we talk about food shipments, it starts by addressing seal integrity, right? It's very critical for food shipments or even those non-food shipments that are still temperature sensitive, such as pharmaceutical. So that intact seal provides the peace of mind that the product inside is in good condition. Conversely, a broken seal means some different things could have happened. Was it from an inspection? Was it some kind of a breach? Maybe it was contamination, theft, pilferage. All of those things can create concern that lead to points of contention. And more often than not, parties will want to reject that load when the seal is broken because of that fear of contamination, and then in the situations where you actually do confirm contamination or adulteration are there, those loads are often destroyed because they can't be entered back into the supply chain for use or consumption. Adding to all of that, we see shipper agreements now that are speaking directly to seal integrity, and they're making motor carriers liable for those losses. The one thing to note, really, is that the FDA's own commentary, when the Food Safety Modernization Act regulations came out, they indicated the broken seal by itself doesn't really constitute a claim. Their final rule, and I'll go ahead and cite it just because it's pretty clear, it clarifies in the Federal Register, a broken cargo seal or any evidence of food cargo tampering would not necessarily create a, per se, presumption of adulteration. So simply put, the shippers still have a duty to actually prove damage or loss has occurred. And that's how we look at those claims as well. Case by case, we determine if there's actual damage, and we look to be sure that our client is not being held responsible for something that they shouldn't be.
All right, so what should I do if I notice that a seal's been broken or I think that the shipment's been tampered with or something that's claimable?
Sure. Yeah, seal integrity, like we said, represents load integrity. So you want to check that the seal number is the same as when the shipment started and that seal is intact. If we don't check it thoroughly, a consignee or a customer can sign for it at delivery. If they later discover a problem, things can become complicated. And that's when it begins to get difficult to prove when and where the issue occurred and who is ultimately responsible. If you see that a seal is broken, your insurance company should be notified, and a good company is going to advocate for the client. The burden of proof is on the shipper in that scenario, as we discussed earlier. They have to show the goods were tendered in good condition and arrived with loss or damage.
Good stuff. So how do some of our listeners protect the seal from being broken in the first place?
That's a great question. We work with our clients to promote good seal practice at the start to avoid the breach of the seal and help prevent that potential contamination or theft. We encourage clients to use seal locks and the additional layers of protection. The more you can do, the better. For example, a high security seal, a lock there which can't be easily breached, combined with a seal lock or a digital seal. Digital seals will actually send notifications if the doors are open, so those are great. We also recommend that clients read and review any and all agreements they sign. There could be assumed liability in there for broken seals. And in those situations where they're contractually taking on liability, we have created an endorsement that's going to respond to that broken seal loss.
Cool. Very, very cool. Well, that's very great. This is very important information. This has been a great discussion around food shipment in general and seal integrity in particular. Very important to keep in mind when transporting food. Michael Vincent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Delicate perishables. Thanks for talking with us today, Elizabeth. Take it easy.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks. Joining us next, let me